Hey, everybody, and welcome to True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. This is Katie Weaver, and I'm here with my co anchor and partner in crime, Christy Brower. Hello.
Hello. Hey, everybody. Excited to be here tonight.
Oh, me too.
I know
this is
we have some funny shit to tell you guys.
this is gonna be good. For sure.
Mhm.
We want to let you know that we are live streaming tonight. So
We
if you're
are.
listening here in the live stream, great. If you're listening later on the podcast, welcome as well.
Yeah.
So, Christy, how are you?
I'm really well. I hope you all notice my sound. I have built myself a little booth here in my office, and I have a brand new computer and a brand new microphone and all this cool stuff to get a little more, professional about the deal here. And
Yeah,
I'm really good. I'm just super excited about it.
we're trying to grow up.
We are, and you guys just don't know, well, and maybe you do, but recording in your house is super freaking hard
hmm
to make it sound good and not have a lot of, y'all have heard my cats yowl many times, my dogs bark, and to not be echoey and stuff it's super hard. So we've been working hard on our setups lately, and I'm just stoked because all my stuff is all set up now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're also working on our field trip sound because
Yes,
we
we
were so unhappy with our audio when we went on our cemetery tour this fall. We had a
are.
ton of fun. Overall, it was great, but our audio sucked and we know it.
Yeah.
So we ordered a GoPro 9 and it came today and I've been playing with it. It live streams, which is so freaking amazing. I did a live stream. It was unlisted because you guys didn't really need to just watch my husband playing Fortnite for a while, but I did so that I
Just
could
to see if it would do it.
try some things out. Yeah, and the microphone for it will be here tomorrow, and we're so excited. And we have a couple of pop ups coming up this weekend, one of which will be a field trip.
Ooh,
So this
cool.
is so what because I will be in Boise this weekend, and I'm going to do a pop up there. And I
Yeah.
was looking at cases today and discovered a serial killer in Idaho I'd never heard of before that has
Dude,
and he says he's killed 40 people. So
how, how could we not have known about this? That's
I'm not going
amazing.
to cover him in my live stream this weekend because he's a whole case.
Yeah.
He's a whole sit down case.
We will get
But
there, friends.
yeah, but I do have some other things to share with you while I'm in Boise. So watch for some fun live stream footage there that hopefully, has awesome sound and video because everything has come and we know what the hell we're doing. So that's the hope.
Hey, you know, we hope we know what the hell we're doing. I'm not sure that's ever actually true, but we do our best.
hmm that in itself is a bit of a crapshoot, but hey, we're
Hmm.
trying. So
Exactly.
no doubt. Want to say hi to everybody in the chat. Hi to RJ, Innocuous, Bianca, Tracy, Red Girl, Moonbeam, DB, RJ, Cooper, and Cats. So good to see everybody here tonight
Yeah.
and hope you're all doing well. So the big question as always is what did you make for dinner?
Nothing yet. We're having burritos.
Oh,
We have leftover. In our family, we have these burritos that are called Angie's burritos, and that's because our cousin Angie taught us about them. They're basically
uh-huh.
just shredded beef burritos, and we have leftover a roast from a few nights ago. We're making shredded beef burritos or Angie's
Nice.
burritos for dinner. Yeah,
That is my
but
one of my favorite things to make after you have a roast, for
I
sure.
know it's really good. And frankly, Rhonda and I have both had a really busy day right up to the live stream. We've both been working, and so I'm not cooking. I don't have time. So,
I hear that.
what'd you have?
We made hamburgers on keto bread and
Nice.
and Scott got all fancy. He sauteed mushrooms and onions, like he did the whole 9 yards. And I made a caprese salad. So, you
Nice.
know,
Sounds good.
yeah, not too shabby. Mars gets out of softball now at 5 and she's starving to death. So she
Of what?
calls me every day on her way home. What's for dinner? I'm so hungry. And I'm like, my God, it's 5 o'clock. I don't know. So
We're more
we're
of a nine
trying to do
o'clock eating
better.
family. Come on.
Right. Yeah. You can't get away with that during on season for sure. Oh,
No, I'll bet.
it's lunchtime at Tracy's house. Gotcha.
Well,
Bianca
what are you
said
having for lunch?
they, yeah. Bianca said they did Mexican meatball soup. I have no idea what
Ooh,
that is. I'm gonna have to look it up. That
me
sounds
either, but I bet
interesting.
it's awesome.
Yep. And oh, Catskills also did hamburgers. There you
Nice.
go.
Hmm.
And poor DB is stuck at work and had Pringles. Damn it.
Well, at least you had Pringles. I mean,
I guess so.
mhm.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad we're all just hanging in there. I got busy this morning and cleaned my resin room. It's been a
Ooh,
disaster. Well, we had a little roof leak and
oh, yikes.
kind of messed things up. So I've had the furniture and everything pulled away from the walls. Like it wasn't major, but anyway, I haven't really fixed it. So today I thought I have got to put this room back together. So I worked in there
Mhm.
for a couple hours, got it really nice and great. Walked upstairs, sat down at my computer to talk to a client for a little while, and discovered an email that from Etsy that somebody had just purchased, made a big resin order. So thank God
Ooh,
I cleaned my office just in time. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
yeah.
Nice.
So it's pretty good. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
JR did grilled cheese.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, you
I
can't beat
love a
grilled
good grilled
cheese.
cheese, man.
Come on.
Yeah, for sure. Well, good. Well, guys, it's all about the Vallow Daybell case again this week, which of course is the murder and disposal of two children, JJ Vallow and Tylee Ryan. This happened here in my town in Rexburg. As you guys all know, it's been playing out for a while. The kids have been, they were killed, it looks like now. It's been about 18 months, but their bodies weren't discovered until June of last summer. So this is
Right.
creeping its way through the court system. There have not been murder charges brought yet. We're still looking at all of the other
Oh,
stuff.
they
You
are
know,
coming though.
they seem to be coming fast.
Mm-hmm.
So there was court this week and then a bunch of filings, and we have laughed until we have just peed our pants
Yes.
over court. Court was classic, man.
Mm-hmm.
So this was a motion that the prosecutor had made, a pro hack motion to bring in a prosecutor from Missouri
Yeah.
by the name of Smith, Ms. Smith. I can't remember her first name. Anyway, she's has a lot more experience with capital cases and things of that nature. And he wants permission from the court to allow her to join his team and practice law in Idaho for a little while. So
Kind of
that's what
showing
court
their
was about.
hand.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody with a lot of experience in murder and capital case trials. Like,
Mm-hmm.
dude, it's coming. These
Mm-hmm.
morons are going to get charged with murder.
So, as the way it's been with court recently with the Vallow case, the first thing they do is break out into a breakout room where we don't get to hear what's going on. They come back and announce that this ruling today will only apply to Chad's case, which is really weird, you guys, because these cases are supposed to be tied together, remember?
Right. Supposed to
But then
be.
we have those restraining orders that were filed last week that weren't ruled on, and we still, or we don't know if they were ruled on, we still don't know
No.
anything about
I
because
kind of
it's.
think they were, which is why they had this secret meeting. And
Mm-hmm.
those were ex parte protection orders against the prosecutor's office,
Mm-hmm.
trying to keep certain evidence from them, which, hello, how is that possible or even
Well,
legal?
trying to keep some evidence out of the public until they're in front of a jury trial.
Right.
It's a strange thing that we don't have a lot of
Well, and
understanding about.
it somehow implies again that the prosecutor's going to do something untoward because it's not the prosecutor's office that's been leaking information out into the public. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, again, I think this is a ding toward the prosecutor or an attempt at a ding,
Uh-huh.
um, in that they, they're like, we have to be really secret with this because the prosecutor's office might release it out into the world. That's what it
Right.
feels like to me, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. Right. And I'd be a
Yeah.
little more worried about Mark Twitter thumbs means,
Right.
but
He's
yeah,
the leaker, and we all know it.
yeah. So this is what happened at court that was so damn funny. So the judge
Oh my
addressed a
gosh.
couple of questions he had. The first of which was that the prosecutor didn't have permission from Fremont County to bring her on, and so there was a little question about Do you need their permission? Who's paying for this? Yada, yada. Which basically, was determined between the judge and the prosecutor that Madison County is actually paying for her, and that anyone that Wood hires onto his team, as long as he deputizes them, Fremont County doesn't need to give permission. Though I'm
Right.
sure Fremont would give permission if they needed to, but he just didn't feel
Why
like it
wouldn't
was
they?
necessary.
Yeah.
And the
Well,
judge
he
eventually agreed with his argument on that.
right, because he's already been appointed special prosecutor, so he has authority here.
Right. Yeah. So the other part of it was that apparently part of the law or the rule to bring in a pro hack is that they have to have a functioning law office in their state where they're licensed, right?
Yeah, they have to have a practice.
And so the prosecutor, the judge said, "I'm going to need you to prove that that she." And he said, "Well, she does." And he said, "Okay." So then they let Mr. Pryor, resting Toadface's, counterpart, come in and share his expertise, or share his
His
argument
concerns.
over it. Yeah.
Mm,
So first he argues, yes, that basically tries to say that the prosecutor doesn't have the authority to do this, and without Fremont County's express permission, he cannot bring her in. Blah blah blah, which he was just basically wrong about, but
mhm,
was shooting for anything.
mhm.
So then he says, "But Judge, I have done my research. And surely my research isn't the only thing we should go by." Yeah, no shit there, Sherlock.
Yeah, please.
After he totally kisses the judge's ass, he's like, Judge, I just I want to just compliment you on being so astute as to pick up on these issues. Oh, Pryor, shut up.
Ugh,
Right? Just stop, man. That's like the smarmiest kid in school coming up to the teacher and telling her how
so
nice
bad.
she looks today. I mean, what
So
the
bad.
hell?
Especially because he's such an ass, like, come on, dude. We see through this compliment from 100 miles away. Like, come on. We're
Right?
watching you on Zoom and we can see it.
Can you imagine to be a fly, on the wall of the judge's private thoughts? I'm sure he's
Oh,
like,
man.
oh,
Because the
gross.
judge is
Shut
so
up.
deadpan the whole time.
Oh,
Like, he
yeah, he's
doesn't
so
react
good.
to anything.
Yeah.
But you know what's going on in his head. He has got to be having this conversation with himself, like, what in the actual fuck is this? Like, what do you want
Right.
out of me, Prior?
Right. So Pryor, who, by the way, was red faced going in.
Oh my
Christy and I were
God.
talking privately, like, is this alcohol or is this high blood pressure or
He looks like
what?
his head is about to just explode right off his body. His face is so red.
So red. So then, of course, he says to the judge, "I have done some research and I don't see that she has any private practice in Missouri. In fact, it looks to me like she's just a consultant." When he says that, Mr. Wood turns his head and looks at someone and grins. And if you guys have ever paid attention to Wood in court, he never smiles, he never cracks anything. He is totally
No.
dead. Look at his
Yeah.
face right there. Do you see him? See the grin?
You
Well,
know.
that, friends, was foreshadowing. And also, do you see how red Pryor is?
Yeah.
Well, Pryor apparently has 50 shades of red, because it was just a moment later that he got a whole lot redder,
You sure did.
because the prosecutor says, "Well, Judge, she does have a private practice and she's sitting right here if you would like her to testify." So, and he just pans his camera over,
Oh,
and there she freaking is. It
yeah.
was the best mic drop ever. And now look
It
at
was.
Pryor's face.
Yeah. Not happy. Not happy.
Redder. Yeah, redder. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. That
About
almost
to
killed me. I
explode.
laughed
Like,
so hard.
it was so awesome.
Means, all the while, looks so confused.
Oh,
Through the
yeah.
whole thing, Means has this look on his face like he doesn't know where he is or what he's doing.
Yeah.
I was so perplexed by just looking at Means, wondering what the hell is he thinking about, because he looked
Mhm.
so confused.
By the way,
So
we should
anyway,
thank
here we
Daybell
are.
for these pictures because
Yeah,
obviously they came from Crime Talk.
yeah. Hmm. So of course she certainly testifies, and she says she actually has two practices. She has a small civil practice and also practices with some other attorneys in criminal law. She most certainly is qualified to be here, as if they would
Yeah,
bring her if she wasn't. She's a badass. I'm with you. Catskill said she's a badass. Yes, she is.
she
She's going to
is.
be amazing. Yep. But that was so freaking hilarious. Anyway, so of course the judge then says, okay, well, I really don't have any argument here. So he approves her to come on. So that's going to be great. It's a small office and it's a huge case. And I think that Wood deserves all of the props because he truly has been humble enough and wise enough to recognize when maybe he's getting in over his head and he needs some serious help.
Right.
I
I
also
really
absolutely
appreciate that
love.
about him.
Hmm. Yep. I think Wood has a lot of integrity, and this is just a good showing of that.
It is. It is. He's not afraid to say, dude, we're a little Idaho office and this is the biggest case we've ever had and we have no idea what we're doing. Will you please come in and
Right.
help us? And we are
Yep.
so overwhelmed by all of the evidence
And
and,
all of the additional trots back to court constantly.
yes, you might not think about it, but there are actually other cases being prosecuted in Idaho in this county right now.
Right.
Like he's got other stuff to do, but I doubt he gets to spend much time on it.
I mean, for example, just recently, right here in Rexburg, there was quite an incident in the Taco Bell drive through.
There was,
I'm
yes,
sure that's tying up the prosecutor's office
yeah.
because
By
some
well,
people were in the Taco Bell drive through and Taco Bell wouldn't give them as much sauce as they wanted. And they refused to leave until the police were called. So, as you can see, there's a lot of important crime happening around here that might
oh,
take the
so much.
prosecutor's attention away.
By
And
the
I'm
way,
I'm not
oh
making that up. That really
no,
happened recently.
that legit happened. That's the kind of crime we generally deal with around here.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, Now, yes, Means did change the horns behind him. I don't know if he was listening to us call him a deranged elk. I have no idea.
I doubt
However,
it.
he now has a picture that is a stuffed pheasant
Mm.
along with some other things behind him. And I don't, still, ugh, really, like,
Yeah.
come on, man.
Well, you got to have all the dead stuff there means
Yeah, you know why?
it's in kind of poor taste.
Using his virility, man,
Hmm.
because
So,
apparently he needs to prove it. That's all
yeah,
I'm saying. I'm saying,
something. So, ultimately, though, I'm so excited that he brought in a woman. I'm so excited for that, so excited for that. Yep.
yeah.
So, anyway, I'm sure we're going to get to learn a whole lot more about her. I did read up on her what I could on her website. I also want to point out that when court was over, my husband said, why don't you type her into Google and see what comes up first? It's her law practice. So, you know, either Pryor doesn't know how to use the Googs or, he's just lying and
He's just
trying
a
to
liar, as
shake
usual.
things up per normal.
Well, and you guys got to understand that a woman prosecutor here, especially in like Madison and Fremont County, it's
Yeah.
not that it's never happened, it has. However, it's not a common thing. So
No.
it's good. It's good news.
Yeah. It's amazing. We love it. We're here for it. So that's what happened. But then at the very end of the day on Monday, there were a bunch of filings. So Means filed some stuff, and the prosecutor's office filed some stuff. So Means filed some paperwork, basically deciding that maybe he should go ahead and protest to the pro hack, which is hysterical since we've already been to court and this is done. But maybe there's another part of it we don't know, since these cases seem like maybe they're splitting back out or something.
Well, and like this is specifically toward Chad, which does make us question, is this in lieu of, because they did say in court, I think Pryor said it, something about other charges that have been alluded to coming down the pipeline.
Yeah.
Is this actually bringing Prosecutor Smith in um, because they're going to be charging Chad with Tammy's murder? There's a big question there, I feel like.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because no
Something's
one's been
happening.
charged with murder here still.
No, nope, not yet. Yeah. So it is more foreshadowing, it seems.
Mhm.
But so Means says, On the other hand, I don't want this pro hack attorney hired, and let me tell you why.
Ugh,
Mostly it was just throwing insults at the prosecutor's office. Basically, he said,
very poorly
uh,
typed with lots of errors, insults.
mhm.
He
And
also
this,
he
go
also
ahead.
called the prosecutor's office the plaintiff. Yeah, it's in the
Yeah,
filing.
he
I mean,
struggles with the words.
mm,
He, a lot of it was pretty illegible. I mean, again, you know, Grammarly's 29.99 a month means, and you
yeah,
really need to invest in it. My God, really, it's time.
mhm,
But basically, his argument was that it's not fair. Basically, it was that it's not fair.
yeah.
It's not fair. They just keep getting to spend more money than me. They
His
just keep getting to
standard
be better
argument.
than me, and I don't like it. Yeah. And that also it's a waste of taxpayer money. Suddenly, he's real worried about the taxpayers of Madison County. It's a waste of our money because,
Who's going to pay for this?
yep. And if the prosecutor does not feel competent to do his job himself, it was so, so rude. It was just mostly him throwing jabs at the prosecutor's office, which
Well,
again, like means, what do you think that's going to get you? Really? What is that going to get you?
a
Are
quick
you
day
really
in
this
court.
petty? Yeah.
Well, the other thing that he said, which I'm like, dude, what if we just start bringing in these attorneys from out of state? What's going to happen to all of the Idaho attorneys? They're going to lose all their business. Like, this is a freaking prosecute. What are you talking about? Like,
Yeah.
we don't just have prosecutors hanging up, their shingle on every street corner. Like,
Yeah.
what is elected? Like, what the hell does that even mean? But yeah, he was just
Yeah.
making shit up. I,
Eventually, I mean, yeah. Essentially, he put his hand on his hip, he stomped his foot, and he yelled, "Judge, it's just not fair." I
mhm.
mean, that's pretty much what it said. It was, it's
Except that
not.
I think maybe it said it's just not fail because he spelled it wrong. Just saying.
Yeah.
Because it's full of errors. It's like it's worse than ever. Like he typed it up so
Oh
fast,
man,
or his 12-year-old kid did. I don't know. I have no idea who typed
I
it
would
wrong.
never insult his 12-year-old kid that way. Surely they're better than this.
I please.
It's terrible. It
I don't
really
know.
is.
As a 12-year-old kid, I made that up.
I don't either, but
I'm not actually insulting his kid. I have no idea.
I get you. Anyway, it's insane. It's insane. But the prosecutor's office had some words for means because they too are sick of his shit. So, as we
Aren't
know,
they
he
though?
keeps crying to the judge that they're not giving him all of the evidence that he's asking for. Well, some of what he's demanding from them is literally stuff that he has to subpoena himself and get himself. A bunch of stuff he wanted from the jail
Yeah.
and a couple other places that he's trying to force the prosecutor's office to do for him. And the prosecutor's office basically filed a brief saying, we disagree with these items that you're asking us for. They don't apply to Rule 16, which was the rule that was he was, arguing for when they went to court about this a couple of about 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he said they don't apply to Rule 16 because these aren't things that we are only privy to.
Right.
You can get these too. You don't need to get them from us. You go talk to the jail and ask them for this stuff. Like, that's not our job.
Well,
And
it's
finally, the
stuff he's
prosecutor's
never gonna
office,
get anyway.
yeah, finally, the prosecutor's office said the thing we have all been thinking. They said, it is not our job to gather evidence for the defense.
Yep.
Mike
They
freaking
really said it.
drop, right?
Mhm.
They finally said it. We've all said it. They finally said it. If it's stuff that only we have that you can't get elsewhere, we're going to provide it to you.
Yeah.
But if you just don't want to bother to do your job, don't come crying to us. It's not our job to do this for you.
Yeah.
No.
It's
So
just
we'll
a
see what the
bunch
judge
of
says.
time wasted
But
crap. Yeah.
mhm,
Well, it's insane. It's more crap about how he's not able to communicate adequately with his client.
mhm,
And it's stuff like every conversation that every jailer has ever had with Lori Vallow, Daybell.
mhm.
Uh, dude, they don't write that stuff down. I mean,
Right.
what are you? It's crazy. It's stuff that
Mhm.
they're not going to be able to generate, and they're going to say, "Yeah, no, we're not doing that."
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's yeah. But again, it's not stuff. It's not the prosecutor's job to chase all that down anyway. If he
no,
wants it, he
not in
has to
any
go
way.
get it. but he has the right of subpoena to subpoena whatever evidence that he, wants from them. Anyway, it's just crazy.
Yep.
Yep. Now, well, I agree, innocuous. She says, I'm getting really concerned about Lori's lawyer. He is obviously incompetent for a case like this. This could be grounds for appeals. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. He's the worst.
He
Yep.
he really is, and it's just getting worse and worse, and we haven't even seen him in trial yet. I mean, this is just all the stuff leading up to trial. What is trial going to be like with this moron? That's my worry. Like, legit, is she going to be able to say she had an incompetent attorney?
Yep. Well, let's hope not.
Oh, I hope
So we
not.
did hear an interesting tidbit today down the pipe from a contact or a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend, right? So we can't take this one to the bank, but we heard a thing that
Brothers,
Lori's
brothers,
telling
cousins.
other inmates at the jail that she's no longer waiting for God to deliver her from this mess. She doesn't need God anymore. It's Chad.
Yeah,
Chad will deliver her from
yeah,
this.
she will. Yeah, he will.
That's what she's telling people.
That's still
So,
how deep in this she is, you guys.
mhm,
She's
that's
not
how
well.
ill she is. Yep.
I have wondered, like, are we going to hear something about competency at some point with her?
Right.
Really? I mean, legit, are we?
Right. Like a couple weeks ago, we heard about her dancing constantly in her cell, uh, acting totally normal, perky, bubbly, Now telling people that, she's not worried about God delivering her. She doesn't need him. She's got Chad on her side.
Yeah,
Holy hell. Yep.
scary.
It is scary. It is something else. So that's, yeah, wait till Chad ditches her, huh, Bianca? Right? Right? It's sure concerning, and interesting to wonder what does happen when that happens.
Right? I mean, what
Because
kind of
then
a
what?
psychotic break is she going to experience if
Yeah.
that happens? If he flips on her,
Mm-hmm.
seriously, I think she'll end up in a psychiatric hospital. She's so unstable at this point. That's
Mm-hmm.
just my personal opinion, not a professional opinion.
Yeah.
But it just feels like that to me. Like she's gonna break, man.
Yep. Yep. For sure. At some point, the reality maybe of all of this is going to sink in.
I don't know. She's been in jail for a year,
Yeah.
and there has
Yeah.
been no scene.
Do you think Lori would confess to everything, including Tammy's death, if they would drop the charges against Chad? Ooh.
Ooh, that's a thought,
Ooh,
Paula.
Paula, that's a hell of a thought. Yes.
Maybe,
Maybe.
but see, she still thinks that Chad's gonna get her out of this.
Right.
So I don't know
Right.
that she would because she thinks, that he's gonna save the day somehow.
Uh-huh. Yep. Red Girl says she thinks he's going to throw Lori under the bus. It sure makes you wonder, doesn't it? I mean, last week they were demanding in court that they call her Mrs. Daybell,
Oh my gosh, that's
which
what I'm going
hilariously,
through right now.
on Monday, the judge called her Mrs. Daybell Vallow instead of Vallow Daybell. They just can't
Nobody
get
can
this
get it
right.
straight. Uh-uh.
Yeah. And then Catskill says, I have to believe the two of them have been involved in other horrific acts that no one knows about. I agree. I
Oh,
agree.
100%.
I think we've just
100%.
scratched the surface. Well, and that Lori and Alex as well were involved in more than we know about before they ever
Oh,
met Chad.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
both.
honestly feel like there were many more planned, but they got
Yes.
busted before more things happened. Some of the
Hmm.
things that their friends have talked about how that their children would have to be dealt with if they were to join the
Yeah.
150,000. Where they're
Like,
gonna
who says that?
kids besides their own? Like, just horrifying.
Hmm. Yep, for sure. So that's where it is. So that's what happened this week. Of course, we'll keeping our finger on this and see what happens
Mhm.
next. But we'll see. So it'll be interesting to see if the judge responds to either of those briefs that were filed. I suppose he will at some point.
Point.
Um,
They do have court again, what, April 7th, is it? Or
6th or 7th. Yeah.
and it's some kind of a check-in. Like It's
Yeah,
a status report. That's what
a
it is.
status
Yes.
update. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Update. So some of it's going to be secret, I guess, and some of it'll be public. Maybe we don't know.
Yeah. We're not sure. Hopefully, it's not just another, we all show up for court just to wait forever while they sit
In the breakout room.
in the breakout rooms and talk about stuff we don't get to know about. But
Well, don't they understand we have a podcast to produce here? Come on.
right? We don't like this at all.
Hell, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, there you go. So those are our case updates tonight. Really wasn't anything else interesting in the ethers, or if there was, we missed it because we were so focused on this.
Yes.
But we think everything else is pretty stable at this
Hmm.
point. However, if you have not seen our other cases this week, we did on Monday was our MMIW case, and that was Where is Ashley Loring Heavy Runner?
Hmm.
And then on Tuesday, we released Fatal Love, the murders of Nancy and Derek. Help me.
Haysom. Haysom. This
That's
was
right.
the Elizabeth Haysom case, if you
That's right.
remember from back in the 90s, well, late 80s. Crazy. And her boyfriend, Jens Soning, his case was the very first one to be televised.
Yeah,
So it was kind
that's
of
right.
or his court. So it was pretty
Hmm.
important for like what we're doing now. This is the very
Yeah,
first live streamed
most
televised
definitely. Yep.
trial.
And then this morning we released Where is Alexis Flores? This
Hmm.
is another murderer who then disappeared and
He's on the
has
FBI
never been
most
found.
wanted list.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
let's find this dude because there's a poor
Hmm.
homicide detective who has vowed to never retire until he solves the case against Alexis Flores. So let's help him
Hmm.
solve it and find this
Right.
guy.
For reals. Yep. So we had some good pictures of him in the podcast. You want to look at those, and you never know. You never know when somebody's gonna go. That dude's my neighbor. You
Yep,
know.
it could totally happen.
Hmm. And entirely. So we're holding space that at some point he gets caught. So that's what we've had this week. Of course, case updates tonight. Tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Mountain, we will have the psychic hour. I have a huge surprise tomorrow night. I'm just throwing that out there.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Yes, I do. And then, of course, watch for a couple of pop ups this weekend from both of us.
Hmm.
And then, Christy, on Sunday, you have Spirit School.
I do have Spirit School on Sunday. This is a little change. I had said Spirit School was going to, the Tuesday class was going to be crystals. It's actually going to be this Sunday. So that's
Yeah.
10 a.m. Mountain. I'm going to do a Crystals 101 class for Spirit School. So if you haven't joined Spirit School, just go to the homepage of our YouTube channel, True Crime Paranormal, and click join. And that's how you join the membership. And then you can attend Crystals 101. Super
Yeah.
exciting.
Pretty easy. And then on Tuesday afternoon, I have Spirit School. And I think that we're going to be doing some animal communication.
Ooh.
It'll be very introductory animal communication.
Mhm. Now, JR wants to know, and you read this case, so I'm going to ask you, do you think that Alexis Flores will be found?
I think it's possible. I don't want to count it out. Yeah.
Hmm.
You never know when somebody's going to screw up, you know? I mean,
Hmm.
he's covered his tracks really well from the
He's
point that
been
he
on the run
disappeared up to
for 20
now.
years.
But you don't know, right? I mean, what if he ends up in the hospital in an emergency situation? What if somebody recognizes him? What if he actually commits another crime and gets caught and they link it back? I'm not going to count it out. I think it's possible. Yeah.
Hmm. I do too.
Yep. So there you go. That's everything we have going on up here in this next little bit. So thanks you guys so much for being here. Have a wonderful night. You have been listening to or watching True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. Take care.